What's up, America? The country of Iran declares total war on the United States and Europe. Yeah, so I don't know exactly what that means. It's not some formal declaration of war that I know of, but the president of Iran is accusing the United States and Europe of trying to overthrow the Iranian government and taking away all of its power. It's also warning that their military is stronger than it was before the attacks from Israel and Iran. And so that led the president of Iran to declare total war on the West. Now, this was just rhetoric as far as I understand. I don't think there's been any formal declaration of war, but if there was, obviously we would win against Iran. Some people are starting to say this is World War III talk, but I think this is talk from a desperate nation that doesn't have a chance in hell to fucking have any victory. But you might want to watch out with that and see what Iran's doing, because it looks like they're getting fuck about once again. So like I said, don't be alarmed, because generally Iran is pretty inept when it comes to their military. So I have a feeling they're not going to be invading jack or fucking shit, in my opinion. Hey, what's up, America?
Esau proud as hell, man. Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone who do rule and teach well. Yahweh Bashmel Shai, Barakatham, peace and blessing salutations to you, sincere Akim, pushing this gospel to the four corners of the earth, laboring in its truth in all diligence, righteousness, and sincerity. And to the Aquath who listen and learn in silence as well. To you I say Shalom. So it's your brother Azariah back in the news. And as you heard this proud Edomite say, you know that America would, definitively defeat Iran in a war. Okay, now what he's not taking into account, see, he's thinking that it's just going to be America and Iran that's going to go at it. No. So you have to understand that Iran is a part of a greater military coalition, greater military alliance that includes Russia, China, that includes India, all right, many other, North Korea, many other nations that are nuclear armed as well, all right, because you have to understand, according to prophecy, that Russia, Gog, will be a guard unto Iran and these smaller, weaker nations such as Venezuela, okay? So this Edomite don't know what the hell is going on, okay? And this is a prime example to show you that these Americans, their time is about up, man. Okay, Esau's time is up, because he really doesn't see the danger coming on the horizon. He also doesn't understand that Europe is separating themselves from America, pursuant to Revelation 17 and 16, that the beast shall hate the whore. Okay, the beast being the NATO and EU nations, right? America is the head of NATO, but the whore being America. We can get that scripture if the spirit allows, all right? But we at the end of this thing, okay? Our Lord Yahweh Shah told us in the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter, that in the last days we will hear of what? Wars and rumors of wars. Now, as he said in the video, there hasn't been a formal declaration of war from Iran against the West, but these are the rumors, okay? These are this is the rhetoric that's coming out from these certain nations, man, showing you that the spirit of the earth has completely shifted. And we've been watching the war tensions, ramp up for quite some time, but come next year, it's going to come to a boiling point, all right? So let's get this article from New York Post. Iran declares total war against U.S., Israel, and Europe as Islamic Republic seeks to expand nuclear capabilities, all right? And remember doing a lesson, tapping into it, that Net and Notaju, it basically came out, and the head of the IDF came out and said that we must stop Iran's nuclear program, and this was just last week that they made that declaration. So Iran already knows that Esau is coming. You see what I'm saying? And they're letting it be known, like, hey, look, We're not going to bow down. We're not going to let you bully us. We are prepared to fight to protect the sovereignty of our nation. All right, because look, all these nations see what Esau is doing around the planet Earth. They see what's happening in Venezuela. They see what's going on in the South China Sea with Taiwan. You know what I'm saying? I think just yesterday, um, America is carrying out bomb attacks in Nigeria. Okay, so all over the earth, you got this devil. He just going around and making war. Okay, this is Esau is the pale horse and also the red horse, man. Okay, he's been set up to what? Take peace from the earth. All right, so these nations are tired and they're at the point to where they're ready to stand up against this beast system. So reading this, Iran's president declared they were in a quote total war with the U.S., Israel, and Europe, just as Tehran looks to build its nuclear capabilities and strengthen ties with Hamas. All right, now this is rhetoric, coming out from, of course, the small hats. All right, the fact that they're looking to rebuild nuclear capabilities, which there is some truth to that, but there's nothing wrong with that. All right, so what if Iran wants to have nukes? America is allowed to have nukes. Europe is allowed to have nukes. So only Esau is allowed to have weapons of mass destruction, but Iran can't. And see, the only reason why Iran wants to have a nuclear arsenal is to defend themselves against Esau. All right, it's you know it's not for them to go on the offensive. For them to go out and conquer and take over people's lands. That's not what they're looking to do. If they want nuclear capabilities, it's really to defend themselves against the violent man, which is Esau, all right, the so-called white man, all right. Then they talk about strengthening ties with Hamas. So now they're trying to link Iran with Hamas, okay, which there's no credibility or evidence to substantiate that. So what I'm saying, same thing that Esau do in Venezuela. Okay, he go out there, he accuse Maduro of running a narco terrorist government. That he's this big drug kingpin and that he needs to be stopped. Which all that is bullshit. Okay, really what they want is the oil, and they want the same thing from Iran. Okay, they also want the oil from Iran and the other resources that they have there. So they got to demonize them. Oh, they're linked to Hamas. Oh, they're linked to terror and this and that. They want to get nukes so they can wipe out the nation of the small hats. Okay, this is the rhetoric that's coming from Esau. All right, Masoud Pezeshkian made the bold statement in an interview published in state media Saturday. He said, quote, "In my opinion, we are at total war with the U.S., Israel, and Europe. They want to bring our country to its knees. The war is worse than the one launched against us by Iraq. One closer inspection, it is far more complex and difficult," he said, in reference to the 1980 to 88 war with Iran's western neighbor. The claims come amid UN sanctions on Iran, orchestrated by France, Britain, and Germany, due to the regime's continued pursuit of nuclear weapons. So, all that's going on here is basically America looking to bully any nation that don't want to bend to their will, okay, which Iran is not messing with America at all, okay? And it's been that way for quite some time, but it's only getting worse. Now, when you go to the book of Ezekiel, let's go to Ezekiel 38, okay? Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. Now, this is the prophecy of Gog and future invasion of Israel. Okay, Gog is referring to Russia, so we'll read Ezekiel 38:1. "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog." So the Lord, we see here in verse 2 that the Lord is against Gog. He's against Russia. Okay, the land of Magog, which just means the land of Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. So the Lord is against Russia. All right, but he's going to use them for the sake of biblical prophecy to bring about this war of Armageddon, this third world's war. Reading on verse 3 and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, meaning that he's going to control them, all right, like you do a wild beast, like you put a bridle and, into the mouth of a horse to control it. That's what the Lord's going to do. And I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, which is modern day Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. So we see here in Ezekiel 38, all right, that Gog, Russia, is tied to Persia, Iran. Okay. So like that one Edomite said in the opening clip, he's like, oh, they ain't going to invade jack shit and they ain't going to do this, and that. Well, they will. All right. Because if America wants to decide to go up in Iran, then Russia is going to support them. All right. China will give them support. North Korea will give them support, man. All right. And furthermore, Iran already showed that they can touch the nation of the small hats. Okay. Back in earlier this year when they let off all them missiles into Israel. All right. Because I remember Israel tried to spin the narrative that, oh, like nothing got through, there was no damage, but that was some BS. All right. Because a lot of the missiles got through and the Iron Dome was overloaded, man. They couldn't stop what the ballistics that Iran set over there. Okay, so Iran, they were, they really wasn't trying to damage nothing, but they were just trying to show, like, listen, if y'all want the smoke, then we gonna give it to you. Okay, because look, all they did was show that they can touch Israel. All right, and since then, Israel hasn't gone to attack Iran. Okay, they've been building up and trying to get the support of America. All right, that's the only way that they'll go into Iran is if they get the backing of America. You see what I'm saying? But reading on, verse 6, Gomer, which Gomer is Turkey. And that's another thing as well. Okay, I brought out in the lesson that now Turkey is performing military drills with Saudi Arabia. Okay, Turkey is a NATO member. And by the way, Turkey is the largest military in NATO outside of America. Okay, so once Turkey leave, that's going to pretty much leave NATO wide open. You see, and Turkey is like on that far eastern flank of NATO. Okay, they're pretty much the buffer between Europe and, well, so-called Europe, which is Western Asia and the Far East. Okay, where Russia, China, and Iran is all at. Okay, they're like the buffer between that. So if Turkey, well, when Turkey joins the BRICS and leaves NATO, that's going to leave NATO wide open. And we already know that NATO, they don't have the fighting power to fight against the kings of the East, as it says in Revelation 16. Okay, that the kings, once the Euphrates River is dried up, that's to make way for the kings of the East. They don't have the fighting power to stand up against the East, man. Okay, and that's why it's prophesied as well in Revelation 17 that the beach is going to hate the whore, because what I can see happening is America actually going to support the small hats in this war to invade Iran, and there's going to be division within the EU to where some nations are going to be with it and some are not going to be. Okay, but overall, that prophecy is on the verge of being fulfilled, man, because Europe has been looking at America with a side eye. Europe don't trust America to lead no more, man, because they see the chaotic and unwise policies that this Trump regime has been implementing. Okay, even before Trump, Biden, Biden was doing a lot of crazy stuff too, but Trump is just really out there. All right, so they looking at it now like, man, these European countries are going bankrupt. Germany's going bankrupt. France is going, bankrupt. All right, Poland, all these nations, man, are taking a hit because of America and these sanctions, man. So it's going to come a point to where they're going to separate from America and they're going to join the BRICS. And as it says in that verse, that they will burn her with fire, that they're going to burn the whore with fire. And that's going to come by way of thermonuclear ICBM missiles, okay, that are going to be shot over to America, Babylon the Great, and this will be that great lake of fire. All right. Gomer, which is Turkey and all his bands, the house of Togarmah, also Turkey of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company, they are that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. You see? So Russia, all right, Turkey, all right, they are guards unto their smaller nations such as Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya. Okay, they are guards unto them. So if America or the small hats want to go and attack Iran, which is Persia, then Gog is gonna step in. Okay, Gomer is gonna step in. You see, because Gomer, which is Turkey and Persia, they have large Muslim populations. Okay, they're basically two Muslim countries. So Turkey is gonna side more with their Muslim brothers than they're gonna side with Esau. Okay, and even though the Turkish are Edomites as well, but they're into Islam. All right, so they're gonna side with that interest. You know what I'm saying, rather than side with America, because ultimately they see that America is going down. They see that the West is falling. So rather than sink with the ship, they're going to jump off and they're going to get with who they perceive to be stronger to fulfill biblical prophecy. All right. What was that? Verse. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much the point I wanted to get. All right. Now we can get Revelation 17. I pretty much broke it down already, but just to, bring it out for the sake of edification. Now, this is Revelation 17 and 16. This is the prophecy about Europe basically breaking away from America and hating this place, all right? And the 10 horns are going into NATO and the EU, okay, the original, 10 vassal states, that were a part of the ancient Western Roman Empire, okay, that, those pretty much came back as the NATO and the EU today. When you look at a map of the ancient Western Roman Empire, it was the same territory that compromises the NATO and the EU today. All right. So the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast is a system. Okay, mainly what they would say today as the collective West. Okay, America, Australia, Europe. The small hats are also a part of that. All right. The 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. The whore is America, otherwise known as Babylon, the great mystery Babylon, the daughter of Babylon. All right. And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And that's going to happen by way of the ICBMs. All right. Because Europe is going to shoot their ICBMs over to America, because America is now being looked at as the problem of the earth, just the hammer of the whole earth, going around making war, destroying even their own allies, man. Trump has been talking big shit against their European allies. So that's not sitting well, man. And this is all happening to fulfill biblical prophecy. This very prophecy that we reading right here. Verse 17, why is this going to happen? For Yahweh hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, showing you that there is no free will. Okay, that the scriptures say in Daniel that the Lord ruleth in the kingdom of men and turneth the hearts of the kings whithersoever that he will. Roughly paraphrasing, man. So the Lord is in control of all things. Like whatever the Lord wants, that's what's going to happen. So these prophecies have already been decreed and they are going to come forward, whether you believe it or not, whether you like it or not. All right, these prophecies must be fulfilled. For Yahweh hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of Yahweh Bashmiel Shai shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth, which is America. All right. So America, Babylon, the great, the whore is going down, and all that they're doing is digging themselves deeper into a hole that they won't be able to climb out of. You see? But this is all the will of the Lord that's taking place, man. You see, these wars must come to pass. All right. When you read in, let's get Second Ezra's. Let me do this. Second Ezra 16 chapter. All right. And verse 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars. Okay, so this time that the prophet Ezra saw, He saw a time of great sorrows upon the earth. All right. He saw a time of great mourning. All right. The beginning of famine. Okay. Where the food started to become scarce and dry up. The farms started to become non existent. Great death. Okay. Through disease and through famine and through people just unaliving each other. Right. The beginning of war. So you saw a time of great war upon the earth where all nations were pretty much in some type of conflict, whether regional and eventually a worldwide war, to where all nations are going to be involved in this thing. World War III, the Battle of Armageddon. And the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? All right. So, we are in these times, man, of what the prophet Ezra saw, the end of the world. Okay, which pursuing the second Ezra 6 and 9, the end of the world is synonymous with the end of Esau. Okay. As it says in that verse, Esau is the end of the world. Matter of fact, let's just get it. Okay, second Ezra 6 and verse 9. And it says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So all of what the prophet saw in relation to the end days, the last days, all right, all of this coincides with the end of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the end of his rule upon the earth, which is going to be the end of wickedness and the beginning of the establishment of righteousness upon the earth. All right. Now, to get this last article and close out, all right, because this is what we see coming to pass, all right, because we know that war is coming. We know that the Battle of Armageddon is going to take place. But before that war goes nuclear, all right, before these nations shoot their nukes off, the MOTB, the mark, must come first. And we see that this global digital beast system, this digital prison, is being set up in all nations, man. Okay. And the men of the Lord, okay, starting with the elders and apostles, have been telling you, all right, for decades that this is what it is. All right. And now, we continue to see, we've been seeing it, but we continue to see this accelerated push, all right, to move into this digital society. So this is from Niger, an African nation, adopts mandatory AES biometric ID as breakaway states deepen integration. All right, so they have made this now mandatory. All right, so you must now have a biometric ID in the country of Niger. All right, on December 26th, Niger Council of Ministers approved a new decree introducing biometric national identity cards and electronic passports under the Alliance of Sahel States. Now, this isn't really coming from Ham like that. All right, this is really coming from Esau. Okay, this is coming down from the UN. Okay, which Esau runs the UN, mainly the small hats. Okay, these are their initiatives coming down, and all nations, if they want to be a part of this new digital world, they have to opt into this, man. Okay, and this is a part of that, Bill Gates and global citizen agenda, which is a part of the UN agenda for 2030 as well. Okay, so all these things are linked in, man. All these things work together. So this has been made mandatory in Niger at the very end of 2025, going into 26, showing you that next year they may very well come and mandate the MOTB within America, Babylon the Great. Right? We just gotta wait and see, but it's looking like everything is already there, ready and set to go, man. Like the infrastructure is set up. They got the digital ID now within the Apple Wallet. They got it at the TSAs and everything now. Very soon, you're going to have to use it to get on the internet, to go in stores and everything like that, because all these T attacks that they setting up, this is what's going to be the justification to bring these things forth in their justification to make a more safer world. Okay, it's going to be done in the name of peace and safety. All right. It says here, these cards are mandatory for citizens aged 15 and above, aimed at modernizing identification systems and enhancing cooperation with Mali and Burkina Faso. Partnerships with a Libyan firm have been established to finance, construct, and maintain biometric ID and passport systems. The biometric cards equipped with multifunctional chips. See that? So they're mandating that you must have the chip within the card, which very soon the chip is going to go inside of your body. All right. That's the end goal of what all these elites want. All right. Support secure verification for various services and are essential for government and cross border operations. Okay. So this is becoming the new wave. All right. And come next year, we're going to see more nations hop on board with this. We've been seeing it all this year. Brothers have been reporting on it. But next year, they're really about to push the envelope because, we're that much closer to 2030. All right. So by 2030 is that's not when they're gonna make everything mandatory, but they want to have everything up, already functioning and ready to go by that time. So the closer we get to 2030, the more draconian decrees are gonna come down the pipe. You see what I'm saying? So, as we tell brothers and sisters, man, you gotta be ready to walk away from this world, man, to walk on faith because these things are coming. All right. These things are, people look at this like this is some new wave and, this is good for the earth. But no, it's not, man. Because this means the loss of your rights. This means the loss of your freedom of speech. You know what I'm saying? This means the loss of your freedom of movement, the loss of your freedom to worship Yahweh Bashmiel Shai. Okay, this is nothing more than tyranny, man. This is tyranny in under the disguise of peace and safety and including everybody into this new system. All right. And without this, very soon you're not going to be able to buy and sell. Right. That's that Revelation 13 and 16 on down. Okay. And we can just get it because it's always new people coming in. All right. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. It will read, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right. And that mark that people are going to receive in their right hand or in their foreheads is the RFID microchip. Okay. And this has been known since at least, to my knowledge, since the 80s. Okay. They've been talking about this, but no doubt they've had this technology for much longer. You know what I'm saying? But, over the decades, man, like they've been bringing it out. Okay. Guys like Richard Werner, Yuval Harari, Klaus Schwab, all these individuals have been talking about this thing. And, now they're pushing this global agenda to come forth. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's going to go in your right hand or in your forehead. Matter of fact, people already have it. Look at Sweden, for example. They were like the first nation on the earth to be heavily ingrained into the chip. Okay, now you got the Neuralink. You got the Walletmore chip that goes in the hand. People use it to clock into their workplace, open their car doors, lock their homes, pay for stuff already. So, all these things are already there. They just haven't mandated it yet. Verse 17, and then no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Right? So you ain't going to be able to buy or sell, which has to do with what finances, man. A financial system predicated upon being on a digital grid, being tapped into the beast. That's what this whole system is going to be predicated upon. You see what I'm saying? And this goes into the whole, cashless society, you know what I'm saying? Basically having to give up your rights to be able to function in this world. All right. So unless you have the RFID microchip, in a short time to come, you're not going to be able to operate within Esau society. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is, man. And when you go to Habakkuk chapter 2, in verse 3, it says what? For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Okay, the prophecies are for an appointed time to come forth, man. And we're in the days where we see that these things are happening. You know what I'm saying? You can't run from it, man. I mean, only if you sold out or if the spirit of the Lord is not upon you, that's the only way that you can't see this thing, man. But other than that, it's pretty obvious now by this point. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. All right. So these visions, man, these prophecies are not tarrying no more. Like the prophecies are jumping off the pages of the book. And call Lord Yahweh Bashmil Shai that, we are alive at this time to see prophecy unfold. You know what I mean? Like we're really at the end, man. Like, time is short. We don't have that much time left here. And This is good news for us because it means that our salvation is that much nearer. But for this world, there is no good outlook. There is no future. There is no light at the end of the tunnel, man. It's pretty much over for this world and everybody that's aligned to it. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and close out. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying through the Rakah Kadash. Call Allah, Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakah Kadash. And until next time, Lord willing, shalom to the elect. Kwam Yashala, Wa Babu Bo.